house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day are Kansas James and Carl Van Bergen. Guys, thanks so much for the support. We could not do this without you and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day like Kansas or Carl, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. All right, so when we left off yesterday, nothing was happening. And when we pick it up today, nothing's happening. Just kidding. Sort of. Nick and Christy are both waiting until Wednesday, which is today, to make the rounds and really campaign to everyone and secure some votes. So there wasn't like a whole lot going on game-wise. You know, there was a lot of just random chit-chat, same conversations we've heard over and over again, whatever, people hanging out, whatever. But Nick and Nicole were chatting in the Target bedroom at one point yesterday, and Nick is giving her game advice and working on his campaign. And let me tell you, it needs a lot of work. So he's going through each person. He has like individualized campaigns set up for each person. He has some points that are kind of evenly spread around, like I'll be a big target, blah blah blah, I'll be able to protect you, blah blah blah. But anyway, he's not planning on spending a lot of time on Jess because she doesn't like him. She's been after him for a long time and he knows there's not a huge chance that he's gonna get her vote. So he's gonna tell her, if I go, you're not gonna have a clear target anymore and people are gonna start wondering who you would put up, and of course people always fear the unknown, so that might make you a target. Okay, so then for Cliff, he's gonna remind Cliff how he said at the beginning of the week that Christy was his target, and Nick is gonna say, I put her up on the block as America's prankster, to help you out because I knew that you wanted her out. And he's gonna really push that he wants to work with Cliff and Nicole moving forward. You know, it's gonna help that Nicole has already basically given Nick her stamp of approval. So he feels like that's really gonna help. And he'll also, of course, say, if I go, you might become the new target and I will be a shield for you. Okay, so then for Tommy, he's gonna say, you told me if I ever sat on the block next to Christy that you would vote her out. Now, I do remember Tommy saying this, and I feel like Tommy never thought he would have to like choose between the two of them, that scenario would never happen where they were both on the block against each other. The time has come, Tommy. You gotta put up or shut up. You gotta show who you're really loyal to. So, yeah, Nick is gonna tell Tommy, I've been loyal to you this whole time, and I don't think it would be good jury management for you to vote me out. When you've told me that you're loyal to me, and you've also said that you're loyal to Jack and Sis, but you also voted them out. You know, that could be 3 jury votes just gone for you. Ooh! So he also is gonna tell Tommy, you might become Jess's new target if I go, because, you know, they know that she has said that she's after guys, and there's only gonna be 3 guys left if Nick goes, so could be you. Alright, so then Nick is giving Nicole some game advice, telling her, if I go, you should stick with Jackson and Holly because they are way more trustworthy than Tommy. Tommy acts like he's super loyal, and he is pretty much super loyal until it comes down to it and you're in your moment of need and you need a vote from Tommy, and he's just like, nope, sorry, I gotta vote this other way, you know, what am I gonna do? So that's pretty upsetting to them, and Nick says Tommy's gonna do what's best for him every time. Where have you been? Okay, so he's telling Nicole, use Jackson and Holly as a shield. Like, I know that they're going to be difficult to get rid of later, but they like you and other people take shots at them. So you think Nicole should just stick with them and then they'll dump her when they get to the final 3? But anyway, this is where it gets really funny. Nick's campaign for Jackson. He's been putting a lot of thought into this because he feels like this is pretty much the most important campaign that he's going to make. If he can get Jackson, he thinks he can get Holly, and then if he can get the two of them, he feels like he can get Cliff. So he will have the votes to stay. So he wants to start it off by listing all of the things that he's done to help out Jackson in this game. All of the ways that he's shown Jackson that he's loyal to him. So he's going to be like, oh, I flipped the camp director vote for you. I didn't nominate you when I was HOH, even though I was hearing all those things about you. I had your back on day 44 when everybody was against you and you were just like camped out in Camp Comeback Room. I didn't vote you out when you were up against Jack. And then this week I got America's Prankster and I still didn't put you up, even though it was anonymous and I could have. Whoa, so this could also double as a list of why Nick sucks at this game. It's not on Jackson if you decided to give him all these chances and keep him in the game. Like, you had many, many chances to take him out. Right? That's what I see when I look at that list. But Nick is also going to tell Jackson and Holly, like, look, I know Christy is supposed to be your shield right now, and that's what she pledged to you last week or whatever, but he's gonna tell them, I will be an upgrade for you guys. I could be your new shield instead of Christy. So he'll say, I'm true to my word. I won't flip back and forth like Christy. You don't have to worry about that. And I will win competitions for you and put up whoever you want, except for Nicole. So he's gonna ask, would you rather have me protect you or Christy? I don't think they're worried about having you protecting them. I think they are plenty capable in these competitions, and it's that point in the game where you gotta take out the big threats. You don't want to keep around these good competitors who are supposedly gonna protect you, right? There's only so many people left. So then Nick says he has planned to make a condom analogy. He's gonna compare himself to a condom. Yeah, so he's gonna ask, bro, what do condoms do? Protection. And I'm your effing protection. And what do you do when you're done with them? You dispose of them. Literally, get rid of me whenever you want, bro. Oh, it's so disgusting. Okay, but Nick should already know, because Jackson has said multiple times, and I'm like disgusted that I know that he feels this way. Jackson has said he hasn't used condoms since the Bush administration. So he is ready to get rid of Nick this week. I mean, really. Nick is like, oh yeah, you can get rid of me literally whenever you want. I think he wants to get rid of you this week, okay? Also, I'm gonna throw up with this freaking condom analogy. Leave it to Nick, of course. But now I'm wondering if he does actually follow through with this and freaking say that to Jackson, would they show this trash campaign on the show, or are they just gonna cut around it and pretend it never happened? Oh, it's so gross. It's like making me feel disgusting. Okay, so Nicole brings up that Christy basically made the same pitch last week, minus all of the condom stuff. You know, she was like, use me, I'll do whatever you want, I'll throw competitions, or I'll win and protect you, like whatever you want. So Nick is like, yeah, I know, but he keeps insisting that he is an upgrade over Christy. He says he's a better competitor than her. Sounds like it's time to go then, don't you think? Yeah. So then Nick is also gonna bring up that if Christy stays, that she will now have survived the block 3 times. And if she makes it to the end, she's gonna be able to make a pretty good case for herself in that final 2. Alright, so then he's also gonna push that Christy and Jess are gonna work together, and if he's gone, they're gonna have to pick a new target to go after. Who's it gonna be? Okay, and Nick is saying he thinks that Jackson wants to keep him at this point. He thinks he's really considering it, but he's gotta, you know, make sure it's all good with Holly or whatever. I don't think he wants to keep Nick. I don't think so. So Nick is feeling like they just will not be able to refuse this deal. Oh, they can. And Nick says once Jackson and Holly are on board, he's gonna need Nicole's help to get Cliff's vote. Okay, so then Nick was also saying that he doesn't want to throw Tommy under the bus in his campaigning, and he feels like if he stays and Tommy wins HOH, he feels like Tommy's not going to put him up on the block, so he doesn't want to jeopardize that by throwing Tommy under the bus. See, this is what Nick's campaign is missing compared to Christy's last week, because like I said, and I think it was yesterday's spoiler, Christy was able to turn Nick into a bigger, badder target, more threatening target. So she was able to say, keep me because he's got to go and I will help you get rid of him. But he is not really doing that. He's not choosing somebody else that is now going to be the target instead of him. He's just saying get rid of Christy. So he's failing. I feel like this is not working. He's making a lot of the same promises that Christy did, but he's missing that one big element. I don't know that it would necessarily help for him to throw Tommy under the bus, because I think people know how close Nick and Tommy have been in the past, and I really don't see them being like, oh, they're definitely going to go after each other. You know, they're still going to think that Nick and Tommy are going to work together anyway, so I don't think it would actually work, but he is missing that element. Okay, so there were no blow-ups at Taco Tuesday dinner, and all 8 of them put on face masks together. Is this Big Brother? Because it doesn't feel like it. So later, Nick and Nicole were going over his campaign again. Blah, 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 blah. Enough of that. Christy was with Holly in the HOH room while that was happening. So Holly's like, how are you feeling? And Christy says she's pretty sure that she has Tommy's vote, even though he's in a funk right now. He's sad about losing Nick because he feels like he was really safe with Nick. Nick has vocalized that he would never put up Tommy or Nicole, and he would use the veto on them if they were on the block. So she says Tommy's upset to lose him, but I feel like Christy's also doing some subtle campaigning here, being like, yo, Nick would never put up Nicole or Tommy. You know, there are not a lot of people left here, so there is a chance that you guys could be going up. Right? Okay, so then Christy says she hasn't spoken to Jess yet, but she's assuming she's going to have her vote along with Jackson's, and Cliff has already told her that he's voting to keep her. So she feels like it's okay at this point. She doesn't want to do too much. So then Christy is saying, I really think that Nick's campaigning is going to be to like scare or spook Jackson into thinking that I'm going to come after him and he's going to be the biggest threat, which is funny because Christy is totally going to target Jackson if she wins HOH. But of course, she's keeping that hush-hush, duh. So she's like, yeah, he's just going to try and scare Jackson. And she's like, it's so ridiculous. Is it though? So yeah, then they're talking about what Jess would do if she won HOH, and you know, this is Holly was kind of nervous about Jess for a while because she thought that she would potentially target Jackson. But Christy is reassuring Holly, Jess is not after you guys. She's said so many times that she has like a special bond with Jackson and she probably wouldn't target him. She still might go after guys, but even if Jackson did go up, he would probably just be a pawn. So Christy says she thinks it would be Cliff and Nicole or Cliff and Tommy up on the block. And like, yeah, maybe Jackson could be a replacement nominee, but again, he wouldn't be the target. Okay, so honestly, I don't know what Jess would do. I don't know who her targets would be if Nick is gone, but I'm interested to find out. So then they start BSing each other that Cliff is going to be one of the next big threats once Nick is gone. I think he'll definitely be a threat in the mental competitions, which is something that they were saying. But they're like making it seem like Cliff has to be one of the next people to go, but neither of them would target Cliff next. They both want to go to the Final Four with Cliff. You know, it seems like Christy and Tommy, or at least Christy, would like to go with Cliff and Nicole, and we know that Jackson and Holly want the same. So they're hot commodities right now. All right, so then Cliff and Jackson join them. So it's Cliff, Jackson, Holly, and Christy together, and they're talking about how Nicole has already started campaigning for Nick to stay this week, and it's making Holly feel kind of weird, but Cliff is telling her it's okay. Nicole is obviously very close personally with Nick. However, he feels like she's still gonna vote with all of them to keep Christy because the votes just aren't gonna be there to keep Nick, and she's not gonna wanna be in the minority. And then he says once Nick is gone, it's whatever. So obviously he doesn't wanna say in front of Christy that they're all working together, but once Christy leaves, Cliff, Holly, and Jackson were talking alone, and Cliff was like, yeah, once Nick goes, Nicole is ours. You know, she'll be all ours. We won't have to worry about that anymore. It's all good. I just feel like Nicole's got to let this Nick thing go. The votes are not there, and you're freaking everyone out. It's not a great look for her. So then today, as of 2 p.m. Big Brother time, Nick still not campaigning. He's packing up his things. He says he's not in any rush. You're running out of time here, bruh. So at 2 p.m., Nick does start campaigning. He pulls Tommy aside, and as they're walking to the camp comeback room, Nick asks, are we gonna F in there? Ah! Okay, so I guess he's just trying to butter Tommy up before he does this campaign. So Nick says, last week you told me that you wanted Christy out because she's so volatile, and you said if I was ever up against her that you would vote her out. So Tommy's reaction to this was hilarious. Tommy is acting all shocked. He's like, hold on, back up, what? Dude, you said it, stop. So Nick is explaining how that's one of the reasons why he put Christy up, because he thought that that would be a vote for him to stay. You know, he thought that Tommy would be keeping him, Nicole, Cliff, whatever, so he would have the votes to stay this week. So then he brings up how Christy had her back against the wall last week, and she decided to blow up Nick's game, and also with her whole blow up talking about who's close to Nick, he says she also blew up Tommy's game, Sis's game, Nicole's game, and he says, I, on the other hand, am undyingly loyal. Okay, so he brings up jury votes and that Tommy could be down 3 jury votes if he votes out Nick, because people are going to be pissed at him that he's acting like he's all loyal, but then when it comes down to it and it's time to evict, Tommy turns his back, right? We've seen it with Jack and Sis, and now could be Nick too. So Tommy's like, well, my vote didn't matter those weeks, and I think people will understand that. You know, if I voted for Jack or Sis to stay, it wasn't going to make a difference. So then, of course, Nick is saying to Tommy, I'll protect you if you stay. And Nick was saying how if he goes, Tommy could become like this new big target. And he says that Nicole told him that Christy told Jess that she wouldn't nominate girls if she won HOH. And this is something that Nicole said to Nick. But why are you dropping Nicole's name to Tommy? Why are you doing that? Because now Tommy could just turn around and tell Christy that Nicole is running her mouth about things that she's told her. Why are you gonna throw her under the bus like that? So yeah, this campaign is not working. Tommy's like, oh, I don't want to go against the showmance because Jackson could win HOH again and I don't want him to put me up. So Nick is like, you know what? My pitch for Jackson and Holly is so amazing that there's no way that they won't want to keep me. So he says he feels really confident that he's going to be staying, even if it's via a battle back, but he does feel like he's going to be able to get these votes. So still Tommy's like, I'm sorry, I gave my word, you know, I do feel like you're better for my game, but I gave my word. So then Nick like blew through all of his bullet points that he was going to talk about, but Tommy just, he doesn't want this conversation to end. Do you guys feel like he's just trying to get more info out of Nick, or is he actually like, or is he just trying to be like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and making it seem like it's more difficult and that he hasn't really made up his mind yet. Because that's another thing I wanted to mention too. Earlier in the day, before the campaigning was happening, Tommy said to Nick, like, I know that I swore my vote to Christy already, but, you know, if you put enough pressure on me and blah, 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 I might have to change my vote. So that was giving Nick a lot of hope. Yeah, so they were still talking a little bit. The best, like my favorite part of this conversation was when Tommy was asking, like, okay, so if you're guaranteeing a bunch of people's safety, like, who are you going after? And Nick was saying, like, no, I'm not guaranteeing everyone's safety. I'm not guaranteeing Holly and Jackson's safety or offering them deals. He says he's not making any deals here this week. And he says he's not doing anything desperate. Oh my God, you are basically promising your big brother life to Holly and Jackson. That's not a deal? That's not being desperate? I mean, obviously he's not gonna say it to Tommy, but it was just so hilarious to hear. Obviously he's not gonna say that to Tommy. So anyway, the conversation finally ends. Nick is talking to the cameras and he's like, I think I'm gonna get Tommy. I think I'm gonna be able to get him. Just keep making him feel guilty and I think he'll flip. All right, so the only way that Tommy would flip is if everyone else was flipping. He's not gonna be the one to do it. So we're in for a long night because campaigning has begun now. Yeah. We already know what Nick's gonna say to everybody, but I'm interested to see what their reactions are. So tomorrow is the eviction. Should be a good time. We'll finally find out if someone's actually leaving or if prank week will have one final prank for us. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until tomorrow, much love.